Hello, everybody, and welcome into another Oilers News and Rumors here at the Hockey Writers. I'm your host, Matthew Zator, and as always, joined by Brian Swane, who covers the Oilers. Brian, how's it going?
Good, Matthew. How you doing?
Doing great. It's been an interesting, I'd say, since we last did this, it's been a bit of an interesting day with the Oilers. Lots of stuff going on. They are a 500 hockey team right now, 3-3-1. It's not as bad as previous seasons where they've been below 500 at this point of the season, but it's still not the best start. We'll talk maybe a bit about that. First, a couple milestones for the Oilers in the last actually in the same game. Adam Henrique hits 1,000 games, obviously not with the Oilers. Not all 1,000 games are with the Oilers. Quite a few of them were with the Anaheim Ducks and the New Jersey Devils, both teams that he played for previous. And then Stuart Skinner hits 100 wins. As much as the criticism that he's had, that's a lot of wins for a goaltender that young. What do you think about these two milestones that hit here?
Yeah, actually, I forgot to, but just throw it in there. Ike Howard got his first career goal as well. So it was a triple milestone night. Henrique has carved out a pretty nice career for himself. He's only been in Edmonton for about a year and a half. So, but 1,000 games for anybody is a great milestone. And Skinner, I think that you said it, like, for all the criticism, for him to have already be at 100 wins at this point in his career. And at the pace he's going, he's gonna potentially challenge for, outside of Bill Ranford and Grant Fuhr, he's probably going to be the number 3 leader all time in franchise history for wins. Skinner, though, I think I know it's two separate things, but I think there's his milestone, but I think this is probably the best start to his season he's had. Like, he's come out of the gate the last couple of years really shaky. I think this is his best October that I've seen, really, of his career. So good for him. He deserves it. Yeah,
for sure. And he has played a lot better lately, and that's good news for the Oilers. Their start is still not the best, but it's not his fault. There's a lot of other things that can go around of why they're not starting well again. But it's tough, because the thing is, we don't know until later on in the season. They seem to always turn it around. And we'll see if that happens again this season. 500 is not horrible, but you'd hope to be a bit.
It's an ugly 500, and it's a Bettman point 500 too. They're actually 3 and 4 really, but they're 500. It hasn't been pretty, but like they're getting the points. So, which I think is different than maybe, especially a couple of years ago when they stumbled out of the gate. But it has not been pretty yet. But at least they are getting points. So while they're figuring out, they're staying afloat.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, we talked about milestones and stuff and starts. And Evan Bouchard, what a slow start he's on. He only has 1 assist this season for a guy that usually puts up the points. He's got multiple seasons with 50-plus points. Should fans be concerned about his slow start? Because the thing is, you can forgive his defensive gaffes and not being the best defensively when he's putting up points, but when he's not, it's a bit tough. So should fans be concerned about it?
This is Evan Bouchard. I think he'll get his offensive game together. 1 point is not very good at all. He's just had a terrible start to the season overall. Like, defensively, he's been a tire fire. I think, he probably played maybe two of his worst career games defensively last week during the Oilers' 3-game losing streak. So, that's probably what I'd be more concerned with if I'm a fan than his lack of offensive production, because the team as a whole just hasn't been producing offensively. There hasn't been a lot of points to pick up for anybody. So I think that'll come around. He'll get his points. I think the biggest concern is just the defensive play. But as I say that, I'm confident he'll start getting his points again. It's just, if you're an Oilers fan, and especially after the contract that Bouchard got this off season, you would like to see that defensive consistency, because he's shown he can play better defensively. He just has never put it together on a night-to-night, week-to-week basis. And you start to think now, okay, like he's I think he just turned 25 or 26. But he's been in the league now for several years. You just start to wonder, the last few years has kind of been, well, maybe he's going to figure it out. Maybe he's just going to put it together. And at this point now, you just start to wonder, well, maybe this just is just who he is. And he's going to be a guy that's going to give you those, 50 plus points, really closer to 60, 70, 80 a year. But you never know where you're going to get from him at the other end of the ice. And I think that's who he is. And I know that's kind of not answering your question, but that's, to me, what the bigger concern is more with Bouchard, is his defensive play so far. I think the points and the goals will come.
Yeah. That's the thing. And he's always had that criticism, his defensive game. And hopefully that's something that will get ironed out. But the thing is, like you said, he's getting older. Is it something that's just that's who he is? It's something that can be changed, but you take the offense and hopefully just those lessen. I mean,
you said it perfectly. It's like you're willing to forgive. You can overlook the defensive deficiencies if you're going to put up those kind of offensive numbers.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we talked about Stuart Skinner. Let's talk about their newest goaltender. That's Connor Ingram. He's in the AHL right now. He debuted for the Condors. Pretty good start. He 955 save percentage. Only allowed one goal. Of course, he's an NHL goaltender. We know this. He should be really good in the AHL. Do you see him coming up at some point here?
This is a really curious situation because I'm not sure I think, to be honest, if the reason I believe the Oilers brought him in is just to maybe kind of put some pressure on Skinner, maybe in particular, but Pickard as well, just to maybe up their game a little bit. I think maybe get that kind of friendly competition and hope that, it drives everybody to up their game. Because he's a good, like you say, he's an NHL goalie. He's a decent goalie. I don't think he's the guy that, like, if Skinner isn't the answer in goal, then I don't think it's going to be Ingram.
Yeah.
It's not like he's that caliber of goalie that's going to take you to the next level. They basically he's just another guy that could play at the NHL level. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I really have no idea. I don't even have a prediction because I think, especially with how well Skinner has played, and Pickard's been fine too in his couple. I mean, the reason the Oilers are off to a slow start is not the goalies. Yeah. It's not. So I think Ingram is just there to provide depth, provide competition to keep everybody sharp. And if that's what it was, it's worked so far. So as it is right now, I don't think as long as Skinner and Pickard are playing the way that they are right now, I don't see the Oilers bringing Ingram up, but I really don't know. I mean, it's an interesting move. And that's just my feelings, but I don't know what they're up to with this, to be honest. And it'll be interesting to see as this goes along.
For sure. I mean, it was interesting to see him get acquired by the Oilers. I thought maybe he'll start in the NHL, especially with all the things about the goaltending. But it's just, it adds depth. I mean, teams need three goalies deep, I think, at least, because injuries happen, things like that. So we'll see where Ingram probably would like to be in the NHL at some point again here. But it seems to be he's okay in the AHL right now, too. So we'll see how that all plays out. Adding to the confusion and stuff like that is the fact that it seems like the Oilers are also looking elsewhere for goaltending. There was a goalie scout at Columbus game here recently, and Merzlikins and Greaves. I mean, I don't know about Greaves. I think it's probably Merzlikins. I don't know. What do you think about this? I mean, is there something here, or is it just a goalie scout at a game just taking in the goalies that are there? But I mean, he was there for a reason, I guess.
Yeah, like you said, adding to the confusion, right? I try to figure out what's going on here. Now, this is an interesting situation because if they were to acquire, for example, if this was a trade they were to make, this would be probably an upgrade potentially. this is where you could see bringing him into the mix, and now the Oilers have a better goaltending where it's not just a lateral move necessarily with Ingram. So I don't know. I mean, I think that there's a recognition that the team needs to get better goaltending if they are going to achieve the ultimate goal of winning the Stanley Cup. Even though, as I say this, even though Skinner has got them right to the borderline the last 2 years. And I think they're covering all their bases. And you know what? If Skinner can continue to play like this, as he has so far to start the season, then maybe he's the guy that can give them what they need. And great. But if not, then they've obviously got a lot of irons in the fire.
Yeah.
So I think, again, this is just my guessing, but I think they're just covering their bases here. There's a recognition that I think that's ultimately what it is that there's a recognition that the goaltending needs to be better, and they're going to make sure that they get that, whether that's going out and acquiring a goalie elsewhere or whether that's coming from within who they already have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's Merzlikins they'd be looking at. I don't know about Greaves. I think Columbus likes Greaves. I think he's the guy that they're probably going to be moving forward with as a starter. But I don't know.
I'd be surprised. I don't think, I don't know what you think. Would they be even willing to part with him? I'm sure they're willing to part with him for the right price, but
yeah, I don't feel that either. I mean, it's something that's going to be interesting. I think Merzlikins the guy that's probably. I mean, there's been already that talk about him being traded, so we'll see if that if anything comes of that. But definitely some whether there's smoke, there's fire. So there's something around there for sure. All right. Well, finishing with staying on the topic of trades, we talked a bit about that in the last news and rumors about the logjam that's going to happen once guys return. We had Jake Wallman already returned. We got Zach Hyman returning soon as well, a little bit further down the line. But there's going to be a point where some of these guys, some moves are going to have to be made. And the two guys that have been kind of talked about, we talked about Matthias Janmark in the last episode, that he could potentially be a guy. Ty Emberson's another one's been mentioned. Could it be these two or could it be someone else? Who do you see being moved?
I'm going to change. I know last week we kind of talked about it being Janmark. I'm going to backtrack on what I said and just thinking about it more, and especially over the last week, he's Chris Knobloch's guy. Yeah. And it's when he comes back, he's going right in the line. Knobloch loves him, and that's fine. Coaches have their guys that kind of fit the mold of what they want to be, and Janmark has played a role in this team. So I think that role is right there waiting for him as soon as he comes back, and I don't think it's going to be him. I think the more I thought about this over the last week, it's just he's a Knobloch guy, and I don't think he's getting rid of him. So I'm going to say it's not likely him. I think Emberson is probably a really strong candidate, especially, you mentioned Wallman came back. He had a dynamite game, his first game back. I mean, the Oilers had been missing him. His game last night it's kind of like you don't know what you're missing until you get them back.
Yeah, right.
And you show how much they missed him. So Alec Regula, who was impressive to start the season, is out right now too. But I think with what he's shown, he's probably earned himself a permanent spot on the blue line here too. So I think it's going to be. I think the move is probably going to come on the back end, and in saying that, then I think it's probably going to be Emberson. Yeah. And we also talked about Roslovic too, who the Oilers picked up, and he's. He hasn't looked terrible, but he hasn't done much either. He's got one assist in 5 games. That's it. Yeah. And he's kind of on this, if you want to call it a 3-week trial where at the beginning of November, his no trade clause shifts to a 4-team clause, trade clause. There's 4 teams he could then be traded to. So, maybe I don't know if maybe he's suddenly somebody who comes into play. We'll see what he does. I mean, there's still, about a week and a half and to go. And before that contract clause kicks in with him. But so I think maybe keep an eye on the situation there with him as well, too. But yes, I think the trade is going to come. It's going to, if it will be Emberson. Yeah.
I agree with that. I think Janmark, like you said, he's a guy that he's a useful player and the coach likes him. So I think that it's going to be someone they'll keep. And Isaac Howard scored his first NHL goal. I don't think he's going down to the AHL. Again, that could still happen. But for trades, I think Emerson's probably, and he could probably fetch, I'd say probably it'll be a draft pick. They're not going to get another player and add to the logjam, or a prospect maybe. But yeah, it's someone I think that could have some value for some teams, for sure. All right.
Yeah, Emerson is a good soldier. And I think, he's not a guy that's going to make a difference really on a championship team necessarily. He's ideally he's probably the first guy out of the press box for you. But he's a good guy to have around. I know he's just been a solid presence and a really team first guy for the Oilers. So whatever comes to them, you can't have too many guys like that around on your team.
For sure. And he's also not old either. He's pretty decent with it. I think he's like 20, was he 25 or something?
Yeah, he's right in there too. So he's still got lots of tread left on his tires for sure.
We'll see what happens with the Oilers of any trades that happen, and we'll talk about them if they do. But thanks, Brian, for coming on again and talking Oilers. We'll see what happens with them in the next week or so. But you should check out everything at hockeywriters.com. Lots of articles, lots of recaps, lots of takeaways to take a look at. But until our next video, we'll see you next time.